Hello. Hi everyone. How you guys doing today? Uh, I really want to appreciate everyone for joining this live stream, and we're currently live and we're waiting for some of the mentors to actually join us on the channel while we kick off. Yeah, so we're just waiting for. Okay.
Are you with?
I guess Baba for me, your mic is muted. We can hear you.
Oh, really? Just give me a minute. Let me
I
stop.
can hear you.
Oh, really?
Just hold on.
Yes, sir. Hold on, please.
Yes, I can hear you now.
You can hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, that's nice.
Yeah, so you're welcome on board, Baba Femi, and Baba Femi is our speaker for today. Uh, then we have Bethel. Bethel is also one of the mentor in Tech Academic Solution, and we're just here to briefly have a discussion and tell you guys what we do at Tech Academic Solution, and also give a brief experience of what our journey is like being in not having the knowledge of the tech world and being where we are today as one of the players that when it comes to Microsoft Azure and being one of the players when it comes to Azure, Microsoft Azure in Nigeria. So we have Baba Femi, we have Baba Femi, and we still have some other mentors that are currently joining. So we have Baba Femi, a Microsoft community leader, and we'll work together in find my the Comptech expert, and here we are today. And also we have Bethel. Hello, Bethel. Can you say hi?
Hi,
Bethel. Yeah, Bethel. Can you actually share your video? At least let's see you. Sorry.
I just give me.
You said what?
I can just give me a minute.
All right, no problem. So since Bethel is coming up, we have also have we also have so we also have Ochanya on the call. Also, Ochanya is still one of the leaders in when it comes to Microsoft Azure, and she's currently a Microsoft certified trainer, and she's also one of the mentors on tech academic solution. So, Ochanya, can you say hi?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much, Siri, for adding me to this call. Hi, Baba Femi. Hi,
Hi.
Betel.
Hi, Chaya.
Yeah, Ochanya, please, can you just do just share your video? Seriously, sorry
Oh,
about
okay.
that.
No problem.
Okay. So yeah, beautiful China. So yeah, so we are currently live on YouTube and YouTube, Instagram, and LinkedIn, right? So I want before I think I've done a little introduction of everybody on the call, and we'll go ahead and give the floor to Baba Femi for a brief presentation on how one can actually transit from not having a knowledge of tech to not having a knowledge of tech and transit into Microsoft space, being a technical support engineer and also being a cloud engineer. So we'll give the floor to Baba Femi. So Baba Femi, the floor is yours.
All right. Thank you, Siri. Please confirm you can still hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes,
All
we
right.
can hear you.
So I'm not going to do any scripting today. We are not going to share any screen just to read from the PowerPoint slide. No. So we'll rather just talk about some of the things, how let's have a discussion on how we also transited into non-IT person to tech today, and from the IT system roles that we used to do back then to cloud computing now. you know so as for me, before I go ahead to start, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Baba Femi Bulube. I'm a Microsoft Azure community champion. I currently work with WTW, Willis Toward Watson, an organization um, in charge of developing insurance applications. In the UK, we are a global organization. So I work as a senior associate within the platform team. So yeah, I would say, the first thing, I think I mentioned this during the first webinar we had then. Um, I have a lot of questions, people asking me questions. How do we transition into tech? And this is the first thing they'll tell you, Siri or China, you can at least bear me witness. The first thing is, what certification do I need to have, in order to get a job as maybe in tech, maybe as a cloud engineer, or even as an IT technician or something. People believe more in certifications than knowledge. That's what I feel. Uh, so I always answer those questions saying, I believe you should at least understand the technology you want to at least go into, or you want to support, or you want to work on, rather than focusing on certification. I've seen people getting 200 or 20, 30 certifications, from AWS, Microsoft, Oracle, and they still cannot perform the job of a cloud engineer. And now you wonder how they got to that stage. Are they just using DOMs? Are you even going into the technology? So this is it. I would say for anyone coming into the tech space, I think consistency is key in tech. Whatever you want to, consistency and focus. Whatever you want to learn, you need to be focused. You need to be consistent. Now, you want to come in as a data science engineer, you want to come in as a data analytics engineer, you want to come in as a cloud engineer, you need to understand, why am I doing this? At least that's the question you need to ask yourself. People just come into tech and you just feel like, oh, they are making money in tech. Yes, there is money in tech. However, do what's actually behind the scene? A lot of dedication, focus, sleepless night, that you guys need to put in place. And I would say I came into tech by mistake. I think I've said this in the last 12 minutes. I came into tech by mistake. I used to be, this mechanical engineering person. I've always wished to be a mechanical engineer. And unfortunately, it never worked out. Then I moved into, I got an offer to study computer engineering. And I was like, back then people look at computer science students, computer engineering students as nothing. And now everybody is trying to have our job. Do you understand? So I believe, consistency is actually the key here. And that is one thing, you want to look at. So now you want to come into tech space, you want to come into the cloud computing space. Yes, there are a lot of opportunities out there. At least I was looking at the job posted in the UK today. We have, even on the weekend, you still have more than 20,000 jobs already posted, something like that. It's crazy. Companies are actually looking for, organizations are looking for, suitable candidates. And even when you feel like, oh, is tech not, like everybody is trying to move to tech now. Is there still space for people? That's why you see, a job being posted, before you know it, within 30 minutes, within an hour, you are seeing 200 candidates have actually applied. And the question you now ask yourself, so a recruiter was talking to me about this, and it was like, it takes him, hours to filter out those incompetent, candidates. And at the end of the day, out of the 200, you might not even have more than 7 suitable candidates. You get, because yes, people are coming out presenting their certificate. They are coming out. You see those package CVs, and at the end of the day, I'm asking you, what's the difference between the cloud environment and the on-premises and environment? What are the benefits of using cloud? And you don't even know. So what is this with your certification? I'm not saying certification isn't good. You get what I'm saying? But at least try to understand the technology you are trying to support. Try to understand the technology you are trying to work with. That's one thing for me. So I I think I got to know Akwesiri. That was far back as 2019, 2020. And that was when I also started cloud computing. It wasn't as if, we started it back then. We started cloud computing in 2019 when we joined Tech Expert, you know. So the joy there was, at least we were trained on the technology, even when, you need to still try to learn of things, on yourself or by yourself. There are a lot of things you will not see on the internet. You might, yes, people read from documentation, but when you try to replicate the thing you read, when you try to replicate, some of the labs that are outside there, you will understand that at least trying to, replicating the lab will make you understand the technology better. So there are some things you will see on the documentation. It's just how some of the technologies within Microsoft environment, like ADDS, if you just read the documentation and you try to deploy it, it won't work that way. You know, then at least it needs you to at least have a very a very thorough understanding of that technology to be able to deploy it successfully. You understand? Because there are some best practices that needs to be in place. Yes, you follow the documentation. The documentation has spelled it out well, but there are some things, some steps you might get confused. And if you have not done this before, it might take you hours, it might take you days to figure it out. So I would say, if I have to go back in time and say I want to start my tech career, where do I start from? And that's where that's the discussion for today. So where will I start from? And I'm going to start by at least, what do I want to learn? Just because my friend has actually caused to, the tech space is making money, is that a big reason for me to also, come into that space? Now I feel no. So I feel, I think I'm not sure I've told this joke to a person. I said, once I'm through with IT, maybe in the next 6, 7 years, 8 years or something, um, I want to just go into photography. I don't want to do anything technical. And someone told me even photography is technical. I'm not snapping people. I just want to be snapping nature. You know, I've seen people in tech says, after this tech, in the next in the next 8, 9 years, I'm going into farming. They will just want to have a poultry. So, and if you look at the fact that, yeah, tech guys are trying to move away from tech because we do not want to do this anymore, and people are still trying to come. Yes, cool. You know, yes, you cannot shy away from it. The thing is, there are a lot of dedication in out there. There are a lot of things we put in place to make sure we are actually, staying ahead of the competition. Because in the tech, you guys are trying to come in. We have people that are in already. People learning every day. Once you do not try to stay ahead of the competition, you are not learning anything new. You are not trying to at least really understand the technology, even the ones you used to know, then you'll be left out. So, where do you want to start from? You want to be focused. That's the first thing. Just know, what do you want to support. Like now we are more focused on the Microsoft cloud environment. you know like I said, I'm a community champion within the Microsoft environment, and being a community champion, you need to have a very good knowledge of the technology. We answer questions, the Q&A questions in the Microsoft community, and the likes. We communicate with the Microsoft guys. If there is any bug or any issue, you report it back there. And I've seen so many things, so many questions being asked on that community. And even some of the technology I used to know, or I used to think I really know, there are new features that are out there on those particular technologies, and I can't even, I don't even understand them. So I had to go back to start reading, what are some of these features, what are things we can use with these features. Let me um say this just an example. Azure B2C, which is actually a technology behind this signing with your preferred. I know most of you guys have seen this. You'll see the option to sign in with your Facebook account, sign in with your Microsoft account, sign in with your Instagram account on some of the applications. Yeah. And this technology, back in tech, I used to be one of the guys that supports that particular technology. And I feel, yes, I know it, And I noticed that, the interface, some of those things, some of those features there have changed. I couldn't even at least properly communicate. When the person asked me the question, I couldn't really communicate with the person because I was like, oh, am I sure I'm now saying the right thing? Because now things have changed, new features have been, implemented. So what I'm trying to tell you there is, even when you finally get into tech, there is actually you need to be focused, you need to be dedicated. We read almost every day, just like the lawyers. We read almost every day just to stay ahead of the competition, just to understand the technology thoroughly. So when I'm when I say yes, you guys want to come into cloud computing, you want to come into tech space, what are some of the things you need to start with? Now, the first thing is you need to stay focused. Second thing is you need to have this determination. What do you really want to become? Do you just want to become, a a cloud engineer? Do you want to become a DevOps engineer? There are lots of designation under the cloud computing, not even the tech space now. Now, under the cloud computing, you want to become a DevOps engineer. You've seen a lot of people adding DevOps engineer to their LinkedIn account, and yet they don't even know anything about the DevOps tools. I've seen a lot of people like that. At least so you want to become a data analyst. But one thing I'm going to tell you now is no matter what you want to become, a cloud engineer, a data engineer, a network engineer, everything now resides in the cloud. Now, if you are working with data, now you start talking about tools like data factory, data warehouse, where you want to become an AI person, you start talking about, the machine learning, Azure machine learning workspace, have to start talking about, everything is now in the cloud. Now, if you even to the extent of the servers that we used to have back in the office then that controls the authentication. We used to say, yes, we have a domain controller, it's controlling access, authentication and authorization for devices, for application, for staff within the organization. And, all these things are now in the cloud. You want to take advantage of the ADDS, which is the Azure domain services, or you want to even create a virtual machine in the cloud and promote this virtual machine to a domain controller. So no matter what you want to be or how you want to do this in the cloud now, how you want to do this, you still make use of the cloud. So don't worry, AI is not going to take our job for now. At least we still have long time to work with this cloud because even this AI are actually being deployed in the cloud. So stay focused. This is one thing I will always, like to tell you guys. Be consistent because you need to at least read almost every day, to be at that stage where you want to be, because there are a lot of people trying to take out your job. There are a lot of people trying to come into the tech space. There are a lot of competition. you know you need to make sure that you are consistent with whatever you're doing. So like I said, I wouldn't want this to be, that's why I didn't prepare any slide. I want like a conversation. I wish we could actually, get some questions from you guys and answer those questions. What are some of the things that you're looking at? However, I will just list out some of the things you want to, at least, let's say, the best practices when you're trying to, come into the tech space. Now, aside the fact that yes, you know what to do, you're staying focused, you know, you need to always go to the event. I've seen, and this is where the networking part comes in. Now, I've seen people to say, okay, why do I have to go to an event? I can, get a lot of videos on YouTube. Yes, you can. When I came into the UK, there was this company, they called me for an interview and they asked me one very simple question. That question was one of the reasons why I didn't get that particular job. And the following weekend, I attended, an online event, and they talked about that particular technology that I was asked during the interview, and I was like, "Oh, is this simple?" I just realized at that particular time why these guys are not even going to give me the job, because if you claim you have this huge experience and you still cannot, talk us through this simple technology. Do you understand? For people that want to know, it's just the shift left, security within the DevOps space. So at that particular time, I wasn't doing anything related to security, DevSecOps, and the like. So
Sorry, Baba Femi, what technology is that?
shift left.
Shift left. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Just hearing.
that's the start. Yeah, that's the start. That so what's what's your plan for security when it comes to code analysis? Your
Mm.
code testing and the likes. Do you want to really, do the testing, before, or let's say even your commit, or even your developers start committing their code, to the repository, or you want to wait until your application is now deployed and you want to do an outside in testing, So shift left is trying to at least test or do your security, or integrate your security even before the developer starts testing. So you want to start testing at the early stage of the application lifecycle. That was just what I needed to say to get that particular
Okay.
job. And because I wasn't, I felt, why should I join the event? Why should I, what's the point of networking? I think what I'm reading is enough. But there are some things you will not even get there. When you're reading documentation, you're watching videos, you hear a lot of features, new things, new updates, in tech space, which you might not even come across. But when you attend programs, and that's why I tell people, yes, it's fine when you want to read and understand. Yes, I have the 104 documentation, the 400 documentation, AZ 300 documentation, but there are some things that I will tell you in the class that you might not even find in the documentation. It's not as if Microsoft doesn't want to document it, but because we've worked with the technology, I can say this is it. This is something you need to do here. You know, it's just like, let's take for example. I'm sure Better and the Life can bear me witness. If you want to delete your tenant and you get to, so there is an option. You might start getting an error saying, you need to be able to manage your resources and subscription. And you go to your subscription blade. There is no subscription there. How do you now delete? So it wasn't documented. But what you need to do is to go and elevate yourself, which I feel doesn't make any sense because there are still no resources to be deleted or no subscription to be deleted. But because we've done it multiple times, it's not even documented within the Microsoft documentation. You know, you might not even be able to go ahead from there. So you might not, you might not even be able to go ahead from there. No, better, Ochanya, let's take for instance, you want to delete virtual machine now. That's just a joke. Okay, um, so that's one of some of the things you want to put in place. Networking. You want to attend events. You want to attend programs. You want to, that's one thing. Now, another thing is you want to learn from the experts, or let's say people within that particular, that particular field. These guys you can see on the screen here, talking about better Siri, I think myself, I won't say I'm learning from them, and these guys, Ochanya, there are a lot of experiences, on this particular call, so if you have these guys in class, these guys are training you. There are things you will learn from them, which are very, very, you might not even find in documentation. You might not even find you trying to at least read the documentation, or trying to do self-learning yourself, So, and this is why, you know, you want to choose Tech Academy Solution as your training provider, because we've been, I've seen the combination of people coming to class. How can you even have, three guys within one particular class? Talking about, Bethel, Ochanya, and Cyril. You are bringing all of them on just one course. That's crazy. So one thing you need to at least, consider is the fact that we did not even start by reading the documentation. We were supporting the Microsoft technology. We worked indirectly with, with Microsoft, or let's say directly with Microsoft, because we were working with the Microsoft customers directly. We were working on the technology. We had, um, communication with the backend team that actually built the product. So this understanding of the technology is different from someone that just read from. That's why, I've seen trainings, people come back to tell me we've been to trainings, we've paid this huge amount of money, and still I can't even remember what we've learned during this particular training. Yes, because most of those guys, they are more concerned about just taking the money, telling you what you want to hear, and they'll just tell you, oh, okay, if it's the lab, they won't even be able to, perform those labs. They will just tell you, this is lab two, you need to go and perform it. If you have any question, let me know. But these guys, these trainings are actually packed with different labs, and you're not going to regret, joining any of those classes. So I would say, yes, I'm the speaker here, but the best, like I've said, it will make sense at least to have this communication. Do we have any question, coming from people, or do you guys have any question? Just to keep it open, try to communicate, try to understand, what are some of the things um, they need to do why coming into the tech space. I believe Ochanya and Bete can share their own experience also. I knew when they joined, but they've been wonderful. So maybe they can also share their experience. At least we can take it from there.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Baba Femi, for thank you very much, Baba Femi, for that brief talk on transiting from non tech expert to an expert when it comes to the tech space, right? And I want to say something. There is no single tree. A single tree cannot make a forest, right? And one thing in the tech space is collaboration. And I think we have done a lot of collaboration together. And I think where we are today as is actually great. And we say we're actually proud of ourselves, right? So I don't want to take much of anybody's time. So I'll just give a brief time to a little time to Bethel to just give us a little overview of what she studied in school and how she actually transits from what she studied to tech and where is she currently. To better
Thank
about
you so
you.
much. Thank you so much, Siri, for having me. Thank you, Baba Femi. So before we go forward, I want to make something clear. I want to set some records straight. Baba Femi is actually the boss here. He's actually the 001 tech here. There's barely
The
any
exact thing I wanted to say.
that he's not a guru in. So whatever he said before that he's learning from us. I know that we're learning every day and all of that, but he is the boss here. So take your flowers, Baba Femi. I'm going to blow your trumpet. Okay, so regarding my transition to tech, I might be repeating, echoing some things that Baba Femi already said, which are very, very important keys when you are transitioning to tech. Now, you see many people, when I communicate with many people, they be like, I don't know computer, or I studied mass communication in school. I'm coming from the biology background, or different background that doesn't have to do with computer science. So transition is going to be very hard. Let me tell you, it's not going to be so hard, right? It's easier to write on a clean slate. It's easier to write on a clean slate than having to wipe off a slate, remove whatever memory was there and all of that, then starting something afresh. What do I mean by that? I feel like it's even easier for you that has not been in computer science to start transitioning, picking up where you want to belong to in tech space, than someone that has been in computer science, especially those that studied in school and commonized the certification, especially if their experience in school wasn't so great and all of that. So if you didn't have a background in tech, it's not a barrier. That's the point I'm trying to make. I studied microbiology in school. I studied microbiology. I did all my time in school and my earlier years, I was in the lab taking blood samples and checking blood samples. So a child would call me a failed a failed doctor. So that's what I was doing with my time before I transitioned into tech. And I must say that it has been a one wonderful ride. Now let me add to what Baba Femi has said so far. What you need in transitioning, another thing that you need is you need a community. You need like what Siri said, that a tree does not make a forest, no man is an island. Especially in tech space, you need to belong to a community where you have other people that are, that have the same that are following the same career path, and people that have been there. People you in a community, the good thing about a community is you have people that have been there, that have the experience. You have people that are on your level, that are coming up to you, and then you have people that are below your level. So you have a mix of everything that will help you catch a glimpse of the different experiences even without having to experience them. Do you understand? So belonging to a community is very important, and community that I know that is going to give you all the support that you need to thrive in your career is Tech Solutions Academy. We have a community, and in that community we have the mix of all experiences that you need. People that have been there, like Baba Femi, Siri. These people have been in tech space even before. I'm sure they were the type of people that were going to buy 1 hour at the cafe just to browse. Go and buy 1 hour time at the cafe, go and buy 30 minutes. So people that are coming from there to the time where you have your own laptop, and then you have people that are on your level. If you are confused, trust me, tech is a space that it's allowed to get confused. So if you get lost, if you are confused, you're going to find people that are equally lost and confused at your level. And then you have experienced people that are going to show you the way. They've been there, like Baba Femi talked about experience. They've been there, they know these things, so they are going to show you the way. Then another thing that you need that is very important for your career is mentorship. This is another thing that Tech Solutions Academy provides. Okay, let's assume that you are the shy type. You can belong to a community, but you may not have the, you know, many of us, it happens to the best of us actually, cannot really, really, communicate in a community space. We just feel like, oh, there are too many people, too many voices. I'm too shy to talk. I'm too shy to post my questions or where I'm stuck. We have mentors. You have people that are going to guide you through one on one. You don't have to walk alone. You never walk alone, right? You don't have to walk alone. You have people that are going to guide you one on one. Mentorship is something that is very important, especially if you are just breaking in, especially if you are starting from a non-technical background. All right, we've already established that you don't have to have a computer science background for you get into tech. So you need mentorship. You need people that have been there that will show you the shortcuts. It's not as if there's a shortcut, but when you are stuck, people that tell you, oh, that this was how I was stuck in this area for such a long time and all that, but I found a way. So you don't have to spend that much time. If it took your mentor say a month, 1 month, 2 months developing a skill. Somebody like Bafemi that talked about B2C is actually the B2C guru. So it took him time to learn all of those communication, learn everything, the features and all of that. But when we came in, we did not have to go through all of that because he's been there already. Do you understand? So that's what a mentor would do for you. And Tech Solutions Academy is providing mentorship and support for the community members. This is another reason why you should not even hesitate to join the community. And then lastly, what I would want to talk about finally is when breaking into tech, do not be afraid to take on little projects that are in the area that you would like to work in. You understand that you may not get it right just at the very start where you are transitioning. I When I was transitioning, it's just the gift of community I met at Tech Experts that actually helped me, grow this fast. But before I got there, I've gone through different routes. I've gotten lost so many times. I've tried to learn some things that I didn't even need. Do you understand? I was a beginner. Somebody was telling me to go and learn how to build a library. Ah, I barely know how to code. And you're telling me to learn how to build a library, that if you learn how to build a library, this, that. And another person, that's one thing about tech space. It can be very noisy if you don't know how to filter out the noise and all of that. It can be really confusing. Somebody was telling me, just learn C sharp, rather. Just learn C sharp. When you learn C sharp, how am I going to start learning C sharp when I barely know my way around the computer? Do you understand? So this is what Tech Solutions Academy is providing. You have your mentors, and then when you are building small projects based on your level of understanding, let's assume that okay, you started the fundamentals classes, and then you've been taught how to deploy a particular resource on Azure. Go on, deploy as many as you can. Go and explore. Allow your imagination to run wild. Deploy resources that you will not be able to. You get stuck deleting, and then you come to the community to ask for help. It's very important to build small projects. Try to, whatever you learn, get your hands dirty. Get on your knees, get your hands dirty, and start working. Don't wait to say, okay, when I'm done, then I will come back. No, as you go. And then okay, we've talked about Babafemi has talked about networking is also very important. This is something you also get in the community. I already mentioned that you get a mix of everything and anything. So that's just my 2 cents on this. Thank you guys. Please let us know if you have questions. You can post your questions in the comment sections, and then you have all of these people on this call. You definitely get an answer. Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you very much, Beto, for that brief talk on transiting to tech. So, like what Beto and Babafemi has actually talked about in terms of transiting down to tech, I know most of us, someone like me, growing up, I actually wanted to become, what do you call it? I actually wanted to be a geologist, right? I wanted to read geology in school. So it was just 18 line that changed that to for me to transit into tech. And I find myself reading computer science. So I did computer science back then, BSc. After then, I think I did computer science again in master's level. And before I started practicing in tech. So before I actually go deep into that, maybe I'll call on Ochanya. So to also give us how our experience was coming down from non-technical background to become a pioneer in one of the fast-growing technical products, that's Microsoft Azure, and yeah, how she actually transited from non-technical background to technical background. So China, the mic is yours.
Okay, thank you so much, Akwesiri. So, hi everyone. So, in regards to what Baba Femi said, please, you guys should ignore him. Baba Femi is actually a pro. Before I even met him, I've heard about him. I heard about what he has been doing, how he has been lifting up Microsoft customers, and the wonderful things he has been doing for the team before I eventually met him. So, take your flowers, like Bethel said. So, like my colleagues have said, they've said it all. coming into the tech space is something that is very challenging. There are lots of noise, so you have to filter what you want to do. You have to filter where you want to belong. You have to filter where you want to be, right? And being in tech has to do with you have to be determined. For me, I would say determination. I was determined because I'm someone that I like to, once I set my mind into something, I need to get it. So it was that kind of a thing for me. And I didn't want it to be like, oh, fine girl that don't have sense. You understand that kind of talk, you understand? So I wanted to break that stereotype that oh, you can be a girl, you can be a fine girl, and you can know book, you can know these things, and you can work from it and you can make money from it, right? So where I am now is as a result of tech. If I had not joined tech, I don't know where I would have been, right? I would have been doing lots of other things. Like my colleague said, I would have probably been a WhatsApp vendor. But because of tech, I'm where I am, and to get better, because I'm not going to relent. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm going to keep, pushing. I remember when I joined Tech Expert. I joined Tech Expert in 2020. By then, these were senior colleagues already dead, already setting grounds for us. So we joined 2020, and I remember joining. And the first few weeks, the first 1 or 2 weeks, I felt sick. Why? Because it was a whole lot of information. And then I got back up. I said, like, this thing must enter my head. It must enter my head. And I kept on. I remember waking up 4 a.m. every day to read. That was my secret. I was always waking up. I would see me, I'm always reading on my phone. I'll just stay inside my net, my mosquito net. I'm reading. I was doing it. Then 6 a.m. I stand up, I walk out, then I join the staff bus and go back to the office. 4 a.m. again, I'm up reading because I was trying to understand this technology we're trying to support. Because I don't want a case where a customer has to raise a ticket and I don't have a resolution to that customer, resolution to present to that customer. So if you need to join the tech space, you need to be focused. You need to be determined. I told somebody I want to join tech. I said, you want to join tech, but you need to know you need to be driven by something. What drives you? What's your drive? I had a drive. Better probably had a drive. She had something that motivated her. So you need to have a drive. Once you have that drive, of course, the sky is just your limit, or the sky is, I don't know how they put the proverb, but the sky is your starting point. So you need to have the drive. You need to be determined. You need to be consistent. Like Baba Femi said, consistency is key. Don't relax. Don't say, okay, I've known this thing, so I'm giving up. No, the more you know it, the more you should know it. Even if for me now, I've done some practicals, but I find myself going back to it to renew my memories because I don't want to give up. I don't want to be old school. I don't want to be obsolete. I need to keep improving on my skills. So the tech space is a beautiful space. I would admonish you guys to, if you want to join. It's a beautiful place to be, and there's money, but don't let the money be the focus. Because if you keep pushing, if you keep pursuing the money, it might not come. Pursue the knowledge first. The money will come later in life. The money will come. Even all of us here, we're still hoping the money comes for us. We're still pursuing, we're still pushing, putting in all our best, hoping that the money will come. So I wish you guys the best. Those of you that want to join the team, cloud solution is the best place to be. I mean, you're going to have amazing mentors. You're going to have amazing tutors. You're going to have experienced teachers like Siri. You're going to have experienced teachers like Baba Femi. We have other teachers in this class, and I admonish you guys to join. And we're going to have a great time. I can't wait to see you in class. Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chanya, for that brief talk on transiting from a non-technical background to being superior when it comes, not superior, being knowledgeable when it comes to the tech world, right? So, yeah, I think we've talked a lot, and I know our listeners and our viewers actually grabbed one or two things at the course of our discussions, right? And if you have any question, just drop it on the chat, and we're here to answer those questions. And secondly, I was actually talking about myself, how I actually went through. but I had a technical background back there in school where I studied computer science from United States University, Abraka, and from there I was able to uh, I was able to work, did my internship at Backlink Tech, Backlink, was it Backlink Solutions, Technology Solutions, then Abraka also, where I did some, taught some little hands-on, had some little hands-on experience in terms of dealing with servers, doing user support, managing how users access resources in a particular network, how setting up a network is, and so on. And I was able to learn this at that early stage in Delta State University, Braka. And after that, went for masters, did my masters for 3 years, and found myself in Lagos to work with uh, tech experts. So one thing we are actually very proud of and very appreciative about is the collaborative effort that tech expert has actually given to every of us in this platform, right? So majority of people that are coming to train in our platform are all not just teachers, not let me just use not just trainers, but they are teachers that have helped to mentor individuals or mentor different people to a particular stage, and also that have a hands-on experience on these technologies, right? On every technologies, be it identity, DevOps, or technical support, and so on, right? So we're bringing this team of people to help train those that have the zeal to become a key players in Nigeria or outside Nigeria, outside the globe, that wants to have a hands-on experience on these different technologies that surrounds Microsoft Azure, right? So we have Babafemi, like what I said. Babafemi is also a Microsoft community leader, and we have someone like Ajala, that is also a trainer. That's an SME in Microsoft Azure, in Tech Expert, and we have Bethel, we have Ochanya, we have Femi, we have Jude that are not currently on the stream, but those guys are well versatile when it comes to this training and equipping knowledge or passing knowledge to non-technical individuals to push them from where they are to somewhere else, somewhere better, right? So why this platform is unique, why I love this platform is that we don't just train individuals, we don't just train and leave you, we train and we mentor you, right, to become where you want to be, right? So we train you, we mentor you, we expose you to different projects that can actually assist your portfolio, right? That can assist your portfolio when applying for jobs or when applying for roles. Yeah, so you can actually see if can actually expose you to something like building up a network that has a storage account, a virtual machine, and building up a private endpoint whereby those storage accounts can only be accessed inside a particular network, right? So those are tasks or projects that we definitely going to expose all our trainings on, and to give them a hands-on knowledge on how this whole platform works. Like what I said, we don't just pick you and allow you to show interest in a particular in a particular training area, right? Like for example, we have someone that wants to train in DevOps without having a knowledge or a fundamental knowledge of how Azure works, right? So we don't do that, right? If you come to me that you want to train for DevOps, I have to ask you, what are your knowledge of a cloud provider? What do you have? What do you have to say? So I will understand your knowledge and advise you on the areas that will be beneficiary to you. You understand? Because I can just train you for every course you want to take and allow you to go and do whatever you want to do with it, right? But no, we cater for your knowledge, we cater for your ability to be able to absorb whatever we're throwing at you, right? And we take our time to make sure that these things are actually actualized between that 1 month, within those training time, and also you have a lifetime connection to that community, whereby you are able to access any resources that we establish on the community. You're able to test out different projects. You're able to do different tasks on the community and on our environment, right? So transiting to tech, I know it might be very difficult for non-technical guys and non-technical guys, and you might be asking yourself, how will you go about it? That's why we're here, right? That's why we're here to that's why we're here to discuss. That's why we're here to educate you. That's why we're here to give you knowledge on how to transit. So there are different areas. There are the coding areas. We have the coding aspect of tech. We have the non-coding areas, and we have the support areas, right? So I myself, I will definitely first of all push into it. I first of all understand your capability and your knowledge. Then, if you have thorough knowledge on tech, then I will expose you to what the technical support area. So we'll cover different trainings on technical support, OS support, difference between hardwares and softwares, the difference between networking and environment, understand the OSI model, understanding how computers communicate in a particular network, understand the difference between CPUs, understand the different type of processors, and how does these processors work, understand the CMD command prompt in Windows and in Linux, how to use them, and how to generate code how to write code on those environment, right? That's what we're going to expose you to on the technical support area, to actually bring you up, equip your knowledge, then with as if you have no technical background, right? But if you have a technical background and you want to come into the cloud, and that's when we expose you to the Azure fundamentals area, on understanding the concept of Azure, understand the difference between capital expenditure, understanding different resources on understanding the different resources on Azure, and how to use them, understanding how to spin up a virtual machine, how to delete a virtual machine, how to create a user, just the fundamental aspect of we're supposed to just the fundamental aspect of Azure, right? So on that, then if you're coming into the Azure administrator, so you pass through the fundamental aspect of it. Now you want to go into managing the environment. So managing the environment, you have to understand the core features and the core functionalities of how this environment works, or how to build an environment, right? So on the Azure on the Azure administrator, you learn different projects that surround networking, identity, monitoring, security, networking, security, identity, and a lot of them, right? Understand the PaaS as a service, the platform as a service, and the infrastructure as a service. Then a lot of all these resources, or all these parts, area parts on the administrative part of it, right? So after that, we expose you to the DevOps. So if you want to become a DevOps, I know so many people have actually registered for becoming a DevOps engineer, and right. So becoming a DevOps engineer, you have to understand these core factors, or understand the fundamental of Azure, understand the administrative part of Azure, and becoming a DevOps engineer. So on DevOps engineer, we're covering both Terraform, we're covering Azure boards, understand the user stories, understand the different types of projects in Azure DevOps, understand the building of CI/CD pipelines, understanding integrating different third-party resources with your pipelines, and being able to build those pipelines to successfully build an application or a resources to Azure. We're going to cover monitoring. We're going to use the Azure monitors, Prometheus, or they're all on the link on what you're going to cover. Then we're going to cover Ansible, Terraform, and a lot of these products, right, that can actually make you a successful DevOps engineer, right? So we'll look forward. The training is starting from on the 4th of May. On the 4th of May, yes, on the 4th of May, that's when we're starting up our training. And I'm looking forward to have you guys being part of that training and being taking your time to register, and not just register, create time and what and create time for the training, and also dedicate yourself to learn, open your mind, right, to learn new things, right? So whatever you know before, put it aside and see yourself learning something new, and learning something new, right? So that's all we have to say on those webinar. I know we actually didn't make some presentations and discussing some write-ups and the rest. We're not doing that here. Maybe at our course of more webinars, we'll have some interesting topics whereby we'll come on live and just try to pick a particular project, and being able to deliver it in less than maybe 30 minutes, an hour. So we'll be doing it live, whereby we have you guys on the background watching and asking questions if you have any. So at this end, I know we have done 1 hour. 1 hour was actually scheduled for this webinar, and although we have actually passed our mark, right? So I want to appreciate Bethel. I want to appreciate Ochanya. I want to appreciate Baba Femi for coming out live and having this discussion. So from on the 4th of May, I'll see you guys in class, and we're going to have more discussion, and it's going to be a wonderful journey for the next 2 months. So have a great day, and take care of yourselves. Bye.